The daytime television world was left stunned when reports surfaced that Jessica Capshaw unexpectedly walked off the Kelly Clarkson Show following what insiders described as a heated and emotionally charged exchange. What began as a warm, friendly conversation quickly shifted in tone, leaving the studio audience confused and viewers at home questioning what went wrong behind the smiles and applause. Jessica Capshaw, best known for her long-running role on Grey's Anatomy, arrived on the show to promote a new project and reflect on her career. Early moments of the interview appeared relaxed and upbeat, with laughter and light conversation setting the stage for what many expected to be a routine celebrity appearance filled with nostalgia and inspiration. According to sources present during the taping, the energy subtly changed when the conversation moved away from Capshaw's current work and toward her departure from Grey's Anatomy. While the topic has been discussed publicly before, insiders claimed the framing of the questions felt more probing than anticipated, touching on unresolved emotions tied to her exit. Jessica Capshaw reportedly attempted to respond diplomatically, choosing her words carefully as she addressed the challenges of long-running shows and creative decisions. However, observers noted a visible shift in her demeanor, as her posture stiffened and her tone became more measured, signaling growing discomfort with the direction of the conversation. Kelly Clarkson, known for her empathetic interviewing style, allegedly followed up with a question referencing fan backlash and speculation about behind-the-scenes tensions. Though possibly intended to reflect audience curiosity, the question reportedly struck a nerve, bringing personal and professional frustrations back to the surface. Audience members later claimed there was a brief silence in the studio as Capshaw processed the question. She responded by emphasizing gratitude for her time on the show while also asserting the importance of respecting creative boundaries and personal growth, subtly pushing back against narratives she felt oversimplified her experience. As the exchange continued, insiders say the conversation became increasingly tense. Capshaw reportedly expressed frustration with being defined by one chapter of her career, explaining that actors often struggle to move forward when past roles dominate public perception and interview discussions. The alleged breaking point came when a follow-up question implied that her career momentum slowed after leaving the series. Witnesses claim Capshaw paused, took a breath, and calmly challenged the assumption, stating that success looks different at different stages and is not always measured by visibility alone. The studio atmosphere reportedly grew uncomfortable as Capshaw's response drew scattered applause mixed with nervous laughter. At that moment, it became clear to many that the interview had veered off its intended path, drifting into territory that felt less celebratory and more confrontational. According to multiple accounts, Capshaw then stated that the conversation no longer felt aligned with the purpose of her appearance. While her tone remained composed, her words carried unmistakable firmness, signaling a boundary she felt had been crossed. Moments later, she reportedly removed her microphone and stood up, thanking the audience politely before stepping away from the set. The move shocked viewers and production staff alike, as walk-offs are exceedingly rare on daytime talk shows built around positivity and emotional connection. Cameras quickly cut to a break, leaving audiences both in the studio and at home confused about what had just unfolded. Producers scrambled to manage the situation, while whispers spread backstage as staff attempted to understand how the interview escalated so quickly. Social media reacted almost instantly once news of the walk-off leaked. Fans began speculating about what was said, replaying available clips and analyzing facial expressions, pauses, and tone, searching for clues that explained Capshaw's sudden decision to leave. Supporters rallied behind Jessica Capshaw, praising her for standing up for herself and refusing to participate in a narrative she felt diminished her growth. Many shared personal stories about being boxed into past identities, relating deeply to her apparent frustration. Others defended Kelly Clarkson, noting her reputation as a compassionate host and suggesting the moment may have been a misunderstanding amplified by live television pressure. They argued that the questions reflected genuine fan curiosity rather than malicious intent. Representatives for the show reportedly declined to provide detailed commentary, releasing a brief statement acknowledging an unexpected interruption during the taping. The lack of explanation only fueled further speculation across entertainment media. Jessica Capshaw remained silent in the immediate aftermath, a move many interpreted as intentional. Those familiar with her career noted that she often avoids reacting impulsively, preferring thoughtful reflection over public disputes. Media analysts soon weighed in, suggesting the incident highlighted the evolving boundaries celebrities are setting in interviews. In an era where stars are more vocal about mental health and personal agency, walking away is increasingly seen as a form of self-protection rather than defiance. Commentators also pointed out the unique pressures of daytime television, where emotional storytelling is encouraged but can sometimes cross into sensitive territory. Balancing authenticity with respect, they argued, is an ongoing challenge for both hosts and guests. Fans revisited Capshaw's past interviews, noting her consistent emphasis on gratitude, growth, and balance. For many, the walk-off appeared less like anger and more like a deliberate choice to protect her narrative from being reduced to controversy. The moment reignited broader conversations about how female actors are often asked to justify career transitions in ways their male counterparts are not. Critics argued that the assumptions about success and relevance can feel especially dismissive when applied repeatedly. Behind the scenes, sources suggested that producers reviewed the interview carefully, examining how tone, phrasing, and timing may have contributed to the escalation. Such internal reviews, while rarely publicized, often influence future booking and interview strategies. As days passed, the clip continued circulating online, frequently stripped of context and reframed through opinionated commentary. Each retelling added new layers, blurring the line between confirmed details and speculation-driven narratives. For Jessica Capshaw, the incident appeared to have little impact on her professional momentum. Interest in her upcoming projects reportedly increased, driven in part by renewed public curiosity and support. Kelly Clarkson's show also faced renewed scrutiny, prompting discussions about the responsibility of talk shows to create spaces that are both honest and emotionally safe. Many viewers expressed hope that lessons would be learned rather than blame assigned. Industry veterans noted that unscripted moments like this often linger longer than polished interviews. They resonate because they reveal vulnerability, reminding audiences that celebrities are navigating complex emotions in real time. Some suggested the walk-off may encourage future guests to set clearer boundaries before tapings begin, redefining what topics are open for discussion and which are off-limits. As time went on, the incident became less about the single exchange and more about shifting cultural expectations. Audiences increasingly value authenticity, even when it disrupts comfort or routine programming. The visual of Capshaw calmly leaving the set remained powerful, symbolizing the strength it takes to say no in environments designed to keep things moving at all costs. In the end, the Jessica Capshaw walk-off served as a reminder that interviews are not just content, but human interactions, where respect, empathy, and awareness matter just as much as questions and answers. In the weeks that followed, communication experts began dissecting the moment as an example of emotional boundary setting in public spaces. They explained that when individuals feel repeatedly redirected toward topics they have mentally moved past, frustration can surface even in the most controlled environments like daytime television. Fans of Jessica Capshaw highlighted her long advocacy for balance, family, and mental wellness, suggesting that her decision to walk away aligned with values she has expressed for years. To them, the walk-off felt consistent rather than shocking, a quiet assertion of self-respect instead of a dramatic outburst. Entertainment insiders noted that actors who span years on iconic shows often face a unique burden. No matter how much time passes, interviews tend to circle back to the same chapter, making it difficult to showcase growth, reinvention, or entirely new creative passions. Some critics argued that the clash revealed how even well-intentioned questions can unintentionally reinforce limiting narratives. By focusing heavily on exits, conflicts, or perceived declines, interviews risk overshadowing the present moment a guest is trying to highlight. The incident also sparked conversations about the expectations placed on women in Hollywood to remain agreeable and emotionally open at all times. Capshaw's calm but firm exit challenged the expectation, showing that composure does not require endurance of discomfort. Social media continued to amplify the story, with long-form commentary videos and opinion threads debating whether walking off should be normalized. Many viewers concluded that leaving a conversation that feels unproductive is healthier than forcing politeness for appearances. Industry veterans compared the moment to other famous talk show walk-offs, noting that such incidents often become cultural reference points. They mark moments when polished media presentation gives way to raw, unfiltered human response. Some observers speculated that the interview may lead to subtle changes in how the Kelly Clarkson Show structures sensitive questions. While the show is known for warmth, this moment underscored how easily tone can shift when emotional history is involved. Jessica Capshaw's continued silence on the matter only deepened public curiosity. Rather than issuing clarifications or rebuttals, she appeared content allowing audiences to interpret the moment through their own experiences and values. Media analysts suggested that silence itself can be a powerful form of communication. By not engaging in post-incident commentary, Capshaw avoided escalating the situation and prevented it from turning into a prolonged public dispute. The walk-off also encouraged discussions about consent and storytelling. Just because a story is public does not mean its subject is obligated to revisit it endlessly, especially when it no longer reflects who they are. Over time, attention shifted away from the clash itself and toward the broader implications for celebrity interviews. Viewers began questioning why uncomfortable moments often generate more attention than thoughtful conversations about current work. For many fans, the incident reinforced admiration for Capshaw's authenticity. Her willingness to step away rather than perform emotional labor for entertainment resonated deeply in a culture increasingly focused on mental health awareness. The episode quietly redefined what professionalism can look like on television. Instead of enduring discomfort with a smile, professionalism, some argued, can also mean knowing when to exit with dignity. Ultimately, the Jessica Capshaw walk-off became a symbol of changing norms and media interactions, where respect and personal boundaries are beginning to matter just as much as ratings, headlines, and viral moments. As months passed, the incident was increasingly referenced in discussions about modern celebrity culture, where access no longer automatically grants entitlement. Analysts noted that interviews are evolving from interrogations into negotiated conversations, and moments like Capshaw's walk-off accelerate that shift. Some casting directors and producers quietly acknowledged that the public response to Capshaw's decision reflected positively on her professionalism. Rather than seeing her as difficult, many viewed her as self-aware and confident, traits increasingly valued in collaborative creative environments. Viewers who had followed Capshaw since her early career expressed renewed interest in her work, revisiting past performances and interviews with fresh perspective. The walk-off unintentionally reminded audiences of her longevity and resilience in an industry known for constant turnover. Media critics also examined how editing and promotion can shape public perception. Short clips stripped of context often fueled extreme reactions, while longer analyses painted a more nuanced picture of a conversation that simply went too far, too fast. The situation sparked broader dialogue about how fame freezes people in time. For actors like Capshaw, whose defining role remains etched in pop culture, the challenge lies in being seen as a whole, evolving person rather than a single character or era. Psychologists commenting on the moment suggested that public figures often experience a delayed emotional response to career transitions. Even when peace has been made privately, repeated public questioning can reopen closed chapters unexpectedly. The Kelly Clarkson Show continued its run without addressing the incident directly, maintaining its usual tone of warmth and encouragement. Some viewers interpreted this as avoidance, while others saw it as a respectful decision not to exploit the tense moment further. Capshaw's colleagues and peers subtly showed support through social media interactions, liking posts and sharing messages about boundaries and growth without directly referencing the incident. These quiet gestures did not go unnoticed by fans. The walk-off also influenced how audiences interpret future interviews. Viewers became more attentive to body language, pacing, and tone, reading between the lines to sense when a conversation might be drifting into uncomfortable territory. Entertainment journalists later acknowledged that the story's longevity was driven less by scandal and more by relatability. Many people saw themselves in Capshaw's choice to leave a conversation that no longer felt aligned with their intentions. Over time, the incident was folded into a larger narrative about redefining success. Capshaw's career, marked by consistency rather than constant visibility, challenged the idea that relevance must always be loud or headline-driven. Younger actors cited the moment as quietly empowering, suggesting it demonstrated that saying no does not require confrontation or explanation. Simply standing up and leaving can be enough. As retrospectives emerged, the walk-off was often reframed not as conflict, but as a misalignment of expectations. Both host and guest came in with different assumptions about the conversation's direction, and neither was necessarily wrong. The enduring image of Capshaw exiting calmly continued to resonate, symbolizing grace under pressure. In contrast to explosive TV moments, its restraint made it memorable in a different, more reflective way. In the long run, the Jessica Capshaw walk-off became less about controversy and more about choice, illustrating that even in highly public spaces, individuals retain the right to protect their voice, their story, and their sense of self. Long after the headlines faded, the incident was still referenced in think pieces examining how public figures navigate evolving personal priorities. Analysts argued that Capshaw's decision reflected a broader maturity, where maintaining inner peace outweighs the pressure to satisfy public curiosity. Some fans observed that the walk-off subtly shifted how they consume celebrity interviews altogether. Rather than focusing solely on revelations or tension, viewers began valuing conversations that feel mutually respectful and genuinely informative. Industry commentators noted that the moment exposed how difficult it can be for talk shows to balance relatability with restraint. While audiences crave honesty, there is a fine line between emotional depth and emotional overreach. Capshaw's calm demeanor throughout the exchange was frequently highlighted as a key reason public sentiment leaned in her favor. There was no raised voice or dramatic gesture, only a composed choice that spoke volumes without escalation. The situation also prompted renewed discussion about career narratives imposed by media. Actors are often asked to explain departures or perceived setbacks more than achievements, shaping public perception in ways that may not align with reality. For many viewers, the walk-off mirrored everyday experiences of setting boundaries at work or in personal relationships. That relatability helped transform a celebrity moment into a shared human one. Media trainers later cited the incident as an example of how preparation can only go so far. No amount of rehearsal can fully account for emotional triggers tied to deeply personal chapters of one's life. Some entertainment journalists admitted that the story forced them to reconsider interview priorities, asking what makes good content, they realized, should not come at the expense of empathy. Capshaw's continued focus on her projects and personal life reinforced the idea that not responding publicly can be a powerful narrative choice. Silence, in this case, prevented speculation from turning into prolonged conflict. Over time, the walk-off blended into a larger cultural archive of moments that challenged traditional expectations of celebrity behavior. It stood as a reminder that access does not guarantee entitlement. Fans expressed hope that future interviews across all platforms would evolve toward more collaborative storytelling, where guests are partners in the conversation rather than subjects under examination. The Kelly Clarkson Show, known for its warmth, continued to enjoy audience loyalty, suggesting that viewers understood the moment as an exception rather than a defining flaw. In retrospect, the incident revealed how easily good intentions can collide with sensitive history. Even conversations rooted in curiosity can become strained when timing and tone misalign. Capshaw's walk-off ultimately underscored the importance of self-awareness in public life. Recognizing when to step back can be just as impactful as knowing when to speak up. In the final analysis, the moment endured not because of outrage, but because it reflected a cultural shift toward valuing boundaries, respect, and emotional honesty, even under the bright lights of daytime television.